My name is Mark Bennett. I'm from the Tribune Star. My question for the candidates. Progress comes with costs, and city council members must weigh those two factors in many of their decisions, perhaps all of them. Looking at the municipal projects underway in Terre Haute, as well as those planned for the future, such as the wastewater treatment facility, do you think the city is progressing at the proper, responsible pace? Please cite some examples.
I would say it's an aggressive pace, but the reason we're able to be so aggressive is the fact that we've been able to leverage a lot of our local dollars with federal dollars on many of our projects. Street projects can be done with federal dollars, state dollars. So as long as you're using your money wisely, and as long as you're laying new sewers and streets and curbs all down one street instead of laying a new street and then coming back and doing Band-Aid work, repair jobs like we used to in the past on a brand new street, cutting it up. As long as you use the money wisely, have the plan, you follow the plan to a T, I think that an aggressive schedule is fine. And then as far as the sewer plan goes, we don't have the luxury that the past administrations have had of doing nothing, because we're under a federal mandate that has an absolute deadline with fines associated with it. So we must forge forward on the sewer issue, or find ourselves paying more tax dollars in fines than the fixed costs. So it's a tough issue. Thank you.
Next candidate.
I'm up. Thank you. The city government derives its money from a number of sources, one of which is property tax, the cadget, the edit, the tax monies. Right now we are being hampered in many ways. The circuit breaker, as has been mentioned, is the state's attempt to put a 2% cap on property tax. This will cut greatly into the revenue that the city will have. We will need to either raise taxes through the county income tax, or we'll have to find better ways to spend our money. And at the present rate, we will find that a deficit is being incurred. We have owed money to the police and firemen pension fund, where money has been used in a number of projects. So it's going to behoove the city council in the next year, especially with treatment plant issues and all, we're going to need time.
Red Bauer.
Mark, as best I can determine, as having been an outsider looking in for some years,
Use the mic.
I think the city is. I think, from my perspective, I think the city is probably moving at an appropriate pace. The problem is, we're paying for 40 years of neglect. And so this generation of taxpayers, you and I, we're going to play catch up. I spent an hour, or more than an hour this morning with the city controller. I was impressed. The city's bond rating is A1, which says to me that Standard & Poor's and Moody's think that we're financially in pretty good shape. With a little bit of insurance, we can get AAA bonds. I was shocked to learn that we have 6 incumbent city councilmen who have not been in the city controller's office since they took office 3.5 years ago. I find that abominable. It's incredible. I don't know who the 6 are. I don't care to know. But I guarantee you, if I have anything to say and do about it, that'll change.
Yeah, I think the pace that we're moving is fine. I think the projects we're doing aren't. I think that bike trails are a great icing on top of the cake, but when you're renting a police station and throwing money away like that, I don't think that's a good pace of progress. I am in favor of bike trails, but what you're seeing today is the benefits of what Pete Chalos did, of what Jim Jenkins did. The Heritage Bike Trail was started under Pete Chalos before I even took office in '96. So, we are reaping some of the benefits of those projects that have taken for so long, to get done. I am probably, as Mr. Bauer indicated, one of those 6 councilmen that doesn't go see the controller. And the reason I don't is because I get no answers from him. I get circle talk and a boogeyman scare called structural deficit. When the reality of it is that obviously if we're in such good financial condition, as Mr. Bauer indicated, then I don't know why we're scaring folks with that word.
I have to agree that I think on the exterior, the city pace has been very positive. What I would have to question is, have we truly prioritized what Terre Haute as a whole needs? The bike paths are a very attractive project to outsiders. They encourage the selling of the community, which we want to do. But is that truly the best use of our funds? And I don't just use the bike trails, it was something that was brought up previously, but I think there are a number of things that we need to look at as a core community. And looking at those items, let's prioritize what truly does keep us here, what truly does take care of those citizens who are paying their tax dollars here. Looking for outsiders to come in is a great positive. I can't. She told me to stop, I did.
The pace that we're moving at, in my mind, is just about right. We've got a lot of catching up to do. In the last 3+ years since this current team took office, you've seen more sidewalks, curbs, handicap ramps, and paving happen, at least in my district, than you have probably since all of those systems were put in the first place. There's been a remarkable amount of infrastructure investment in Terre Haute. The bike trails are icing on top of the cake for the most part. As at least when you look at the 4th District, the 4th Street project, which is now underway, and the Holman Street project, which was recently undertaken and completed, those are both sewer district projects that fix things underground and then top them off with bike trails. They weren't done to make bike trails, they were done to address infrastructure problems. I think we're doing well, and I think we need to stay the course.
There's no doubt that I've seen more happen in the last 4 or 5 years than the last 25 total. But it all comes down to our money. If we don't stop giving our money to special interest groups and giving our tax dollars away for businesses, then we're going to run out of money and we're going to be taxed more. It has to come from somewhere. Yeah, I like the pace that our city's coming now.
I would also agree that the progress the city is moving in is a good direction and it's at a good pace. But the problem I see is that it's being financed at the expense of the taxpayers for some items that don't need to be taken care of. Now, the roads and the sewers, they need to be fixed, and that falls into what I consider government responsibility. But when I see millions of dollars being given away for hotels to come to the city, actually given to them, that I would not agree with, and I would not be in favor of those projects. Thank you.
I believe that the phrase "proper responsible pace," I would be even more aggressive in my view, because the combined sewer thing, it isn't a sexy issue, but the projection is that we would be expected to pay more in fines than we will in construction costs. So we might as well fix the thing, get it done right. And one of the things that I'd be more aggressive on is the notion of creating something that will draw industry. Right now, we cannot draw a water-intensive food processing plant to Terre Haute. So Oscar Mayer is out, Purdue Chicken is out. All of those employers that need water treatment can't come to Terre Haute. And they may not be sexy jobs, but they're good jobs that you can get with a high school education. And that's the kind of foundational work that needs to be done in a city like this with 40 or 50-year-old infrastructure.
I think the pace is strong, but I think that I attended the Pace of Progress meetings. And frankly, after talking with a couple of people in town who are in the construction industry, what I came up is, before we start building new stuff, we gotta fix the stuff we got. There's no point in building 4-lane boulevards through the middle of town when we can't maintain the streets that we have now. Let's fix the things we have before we start building new things.
I feel like the pace is probably a little fast for what we're paying for as we're going. I understand the level of indebtedness that the city has right now. That's probably the worst it's been in many years. And when you create a TIF district for a multi-billion-dollar company that's not going to pay anything back to the city, we're not going to have money to finance sewers or streets or sidewalks. And we as a taxpayer are the ones going to pay for that. And we're already taxed enough the way it is now. There's certain issues obviously that have to be looked at, like the sewers, and we have to find alternate funding from either the federal government or state government, but we also have to look for big business. If we could pull in a Honda plant that go across the state now, with that direct funds we need to help us further our projects and make our city attractive to outside business, and again, gain more funding from them for our projects.